Blueface just found out his baby mama allegedly cheated on him with one of his closest friends while he was behind bars. His reaction was unbelievable.
Did y'all know that Bravo
when I got knocked.
But that's not even the craziest part. The way Blueface found out and the decision he made just hours later left the internet completely stunned. Let me break it down. The tape nobody was posed to see. Set the scene with me for a second because the backdrop is half of this whole thing. It's July 3rd, 2026, and the internet is doing what it's always done best. Deep in everybody's business but its own. We're in a house packed shoulder to shoulder with streamers. Cameras hot, the energy loud, Ray J somewhere in the room, and a chat scrolling faster than anybody could actually read it. And right in the middle of all that noise sits the same man who turned his personal life into a spectator sport years ago. Jonathan Jamal Porter, the crip-walking, offbeat rapping, drama-generating patron saint of the timeline that the culture just calls Blueface. Phone in his hand, laughing, shouting out the chat, and then live on camera in front of thousands of strangers. He reads something that quietly takes the whole room apart. To understand why this night hit different from the 100 messy nights before it, you have to rewind and look at the wreckage that built the foundation. Blueface and Jaden Alexis go all the way back to high school. Two kids deep, close to a decade of breakups, makeups, and public warfare. This wasn't a fling. This was the one fans clocked as his ride or die. The family-oriented one, the one he actually got engaged to at a Rams game back in late 2023. Through the Krisian chaos, through the diss records, through babies with other women, Jaden was the constant. She was supposed to be the one piece of his life that never moved. In a life built on churn, new women, new feuds, new headlines every other week, she was the closest thing he had to home base, the mother of his kids, the name that kept resurfacing no matter who else was in the picture. So when this story broke, it didn't land like just another rap beef rumor. It landed like the floor coming out from under the one relationship the culture assumed was bolted down. Then the bid came. Blueface did roughly 21 months across 2024 and 2025. And if you know how these stories tend to go, you already know a man locked down can't see what's happening on the outside. He can only picture it, and into that blind spot walks a name the day ones will recognize instantly. Bravo. Bravo has been described as Blueface's former road manager and close associate, one of the people with keys to the whole operation. Not a stranger, not somebody off the street, inner circle. And here's the part that turned this from regular gossip into a Greek tragedy written in Instagram captions. While Blueface was sitting in that cell, Jaden allegedly got involved with Bravo, the person closest to him and the person he loved most, allegedly linking up the second his back was turned. And then the detail that poured gas on it, Bravo himself allegedly sent Blueface the video. Not leaked, not intercepted, hand-delivered by the man in the middle of it, like a taunt. And that's the piece that makes this one sting differently. Getting cheated on is one kind of pain. Getting cheated on by your woman is another. But getting cheated on by your woman and your right hand at the same time. The person you brought around, the person you trusted with the movement, the person who knew your whole schedule because he helped run it. That's a betrayal with two blades in it. Bravo didn't just cross a line. He allegedly crossed the two people Blueface was supposed to be able to count on the most. At the exact moment Blueface couldn't do a single thing about it. That's the kind of thing that doesn't just break your heart. It rewires how you see everybody standing around you. So now we're back in that loud, camera-filled house. And Blueface is reading all of this in real time, taking a gut shot with a whole audience zoomed in on every flicker in his face. And the way he chose to handle it tells you everything about who he is.
Did y'all know that Bravo Jaden?
When I got knocked out.
Peep what he doing though. He ain't crying. He announces it, turns his own L into a punchline before anybody else in the room gets the chance to. It's the oldest cover in the book. Laugh at the joke first, and nobody can laugh at you. And he doubles down, making sure the whole chat catches every word.
Hey, Bravo sent me a video and
he says it twice, repeats it like he's still trying to make it sound real in his own head, like the words haven't fully landed. And then, in a move that would make a therapist reach for a fresh notepad, he flips the whole betrayal into a backhanded compliment aimed at the very man who crossed him.
Hey, his baby mama way better at
That right there is Blueface's entire bag in one line. The refusal to ever, under any circumstance, get caught looking hurt. So instead of grief, he reaches for that off-the-wall comedy, comparing Bravo to a plastic toy in the most Blueface way you could imagine. But here go the thing. About performing invincibility, the mask always slips somewhere, and this time it slipped in the most public way possible. Multiple outlets reported Blueface suddenly ended what they was calling an emotional live stream, yanking the plug on his own show, mid-flow. And no matter how many jokes he cracked, or how many times he shouted out the chat, the footage that spread after showed a man who looked genuinely heartbroken up under all that laughter, his face, like the streets kept saying, telling on him harder than his mouth ever would. The clip went nuclear on every every platform at the same damn time. By the time most people even understood what they were looking at, Blueface and Jaden were trending, and the compilations were already stacking up. The culture had its next chapter, and it was hungry for more. But the jokes, the Barbie doll, the ending of the stream, that was just the warm-up, because what Blueface did in the hours after would drag lawyers, California statutes, and the entire idea of consent into the middle of his living room circus. And then the woman at the center of it all did something almost nobody saw coming. She didn't fold, he posted it, he deleted it, and she still ain't fold. This is where the story stops being funny and starts being serious, because heartbreak is one thing, heartbreak is human, but what Blueface allegedly did next crossed a line people are still arguing about. According to reports, Blueface took the explicit video Bravo allegedly sent him and posted it out loud on his ex account for the whole timeline to see. He framed it as proof, receipts, his way of showing the world he wasn't lying, that the betrayal was real. But the second that clip touched the feed, the reaction was instant, and it was outrage. A wave of backlash over revenge porn concerns, especially given how seriously California treats the non-consensual sharing of explicit content. What he thought was a mic drop was, to a huge chunk of the internet, a possible felony playing out in real time. And that's the part that turned a lot of stomachs. Whatever Jaden did or didn't do, the moment that footage hit a public timeline, she stopped being the person who got exposed and became the person who got wronged in a whole new way. Cheating is a relationship problem. Posting someone's most private moment for millions of strangers is something the law actually has a name for. In one click, Blueface arguably took himself from the victim of the story to the one with real exposure, and the internet clocked that shift almost instantly. And it looks like that reality caught up with him fast, because he deleted the video almost as quickly as he posted it, reportedly citing those same revenge porn laws, even while trying to argue he didn't record it and was locked up when the alleged encounter happened. That "I wasn't even there" defense turned into a strange little refrain in his commentary. The idea that somehow he couldn't be held responsible because he'd been on the inside the whole time. Whether that holds any weight is a question for people with law degrees, not live streams, but it tells you how fast the mood switched from clout chasing to damage control. Around all of this, the breakup declarations came flying. No quiet, private split. Blueface announced the end the same way he announces everything. Loud and for an audience, declaring, in his own blunt phrasing, that Jaden was not my B no more. It was final. It was cold. It was, as far as anyone could tell, the definitive end of a 10-year saga. And then came the part everybody assumed would be the epilogue, Jaden's public collapse. When a man airs your most private moment to millions of strangers, the assumption is you disappear, go quiet, hide. That is not even a little bit what happened. Instead, Jaden Alexis walked straight into the fire. She got on her own live stream, denied the core allegations, and threw the smoke right back, demanding that if he really had proof, he needed to drop the whole clip and stop teasing it. That was a wild flip on the usual script. Instead of begging him to take it down, she was practically daring him to run it, calling what looked like a bluff and refusing to be positioned as the crumbling victim. And yes, the pain was real. She didn't front like it wasn't. That's the honesty that had people respecting her even in the middle of the mess. She owned the hurt out loud, pushed back on the idea that anybody should be celebrating her worst moment. And then, in a move that flipped the whole power dynamic, she got back on stream and flat out refused to be shamed. Where Blueface performed invincible, Jaden performed unbothered, treating the whole humiliation like water off a duck's back.
My clapbacks go crazy. My lickbacks go dumb.
There's a strange kind of genius in that response. She took the single most embarrassing thing that can happen to a person in the public eye and turned it into a shrug, a joke, a brand. Think about the nerve that takes most people handed that exact scenario would delete every account they own and vanish into witness protection. Jaden logged back on. She looked her audience dead in the eye and told them, in her own words, that the plan was never to hide. The plan was to flip the whole situation into a bag, to walk out of the wreckage with money instead of a broken spirit. And whether you find that admirable or exhausting, whether you call it empowerment or just two people who stopped protecting their privacy a long time ago, you can't deny it worked. Her clip spread as fast as his. The comment sections flipped, and suddenly the narrative wasn't poor Jaden. It was, wait, is she winning this? The fans, predictable as ever, split right down the middle. One side saw the whole thing as pure karma, pointing out Blueface has been bragging about his own cheating for years, and a man who lives by the sword can't cry when he catches the blade. Another side saw something far more calculated, a stunt, a piece of theater, a publicity play from a couple that turned their relationship into a decade-long reality show with the cameras never off. And a third side, the quietest but maybe the realest, kept pointing at the elephant in the room. There are kids in this family, and none of them signed up to have their parents' worst moments broadcast for entertainment. So there it was. He broke up with her on camera. He posted the video. He deleted the video. She denied it, cried about it, then turned it into a bag. Everybody figured that had to be the end, that a betrayal this deep, aired this loud, was the kind of wound no relationship walks away from. They were wrong, because just a couple of hours later, Blueface posted something that made the whole internet do a double take. Welcome to the circus. If you're still convinced this was a breakup story, take a seat for the ending, because roughly 2 hours after Blueface exposed the woman he just publicly dumped, he posted fresh footage of the two of them cozied up together, lying next to each other, talking casually, even interacting with their son. No apology, no explanation, just the two of them back in the same bed, hours after the biggest betrayal blow-up of their entire run. And over the top of it, he dropped the most on-brand caption imaginable, a philosophy, a shrug, and a punchline all at once.
You gonna treat the like a princess. I'm gonna treat her how she's supposed to be treated.
And then, just so wasn't nobody mistaking this for a tender moment, he capped it with the 2 words that basically sum up his whole public existence.
Welcome to the circus, stupid.
Welcome to the circus. That's not just a caption, that's a mission statement. And to understand how a man goes from posting an alleged tape of his ex to lying next to that same ex before sunrise, you have to hear the thing Blueface has been telling anyone who listened for years. Because when people asked how he could possibly run it back after all this, his answer was almost disarmingly self-aware. That's the key that unlocks the whole man. He isn't claiming innocence, he's claiming symmetry. In his mind, he can't hold Jaden to a standard he's never once held himself to, and he says it plainly. He lays out his entire moral code, such as it is, in about 7 seconds, arguing that his own behavior disqualifies him from judging hers. Now, you can call that toxic, you can call it enlightened, you can call it the strangest relationship advice ever recorded, but you can't call it inconsistent, because this is a man who has been openly, almost proudly transparent about his cheating for years. He's framed infidelity again and again, not as a failure, but as a thrill, a guilty pleasure powered by the excitement of doing the thing you're not supposed to do. He said it to a whole camera crew, unbothered. And he ain't stopped there. He broke down the psychology behind it. That whole notion that forbidden fruit just tastes better to him. But the part that reframed this whole saga is his insistence that none of it is secret. That in his world, everybody supposedly know about everybody, and the chaos is a feature, not a bug. This, the same man who once sat across from an interviewer and delivered his theory of the whole human race like it was gospel. Swearing betrayal is just the water everybody's swimming in. And important, he don't see it as a deal breaker, not for himself, and turns out, not for Jaden neither. He done said more than once that cheating's survivable, forgivable, damn near routine. He speak on it from experience, as somebody who stood on both sides of that betrayal and chose to stay anyway. For Blueface, the whole thing rests on one word he keep coming back to, a concept he treat as stronger than jealousy, stronger than pride, stronger than the betrayal itself. And in his math, that love is the trump card that cancel out everything else. The affairs, the tapes, the humiliation, all of it. Now here go the wild part. Jai didn't think the exact same way. This a woman who spoke openly about how she navigate a partner that cheat, and her line in the sand was never the cheating itself. It was the disrespect of being made to find out. Two people, same broken compass, orbiting each other for a decade. And once you see it that way, the reconciliation stops being shocking and starts being inevitable. Of course he posted the video. Of course she clapped back. Of course they were back in bed by 5 a.m. That's not a plot twist for these two. That's a Tuesday. This is a relationship that runs on a loop. And every time the internet swears it's finally over, the two of them quietly hit rewind and start the tape again. Zoom out, and the pattern only gets clearer. Because this isn't Blueface's first rodeo with any of it. His whole run with Crisaean Rock was a years-long tabloid staple of mutual cheating accusations, arrests, DNA test drama, and public meltdowns. Different woman, same engine, the same public warfare, the same accusations flying both directions, the same refusal to keep any of it behind closed doors. And even as the Jaden situation was exploding, he was reportedly pivoting his affection toward yet another chapter, publicly praising his pregnant girlfriend Neve, who's expecting his next child as the loyal one, even though that relationship has been its own storm of caught cheating moments and public arguments. The names change. The circus stays the same, and maybe that's the most unsettling takeaway of the whole saga. It's easy to watch from the outside and call it toxic, a stunt, a cry for attention, and it might be all three at once. But strip away the cameras, and you're left with two people who genuinely seem to believe love and loyalty live in separate rooms. that you can betray somebody and still choose them, that the mess isn't a threat to the relationship. The mess is the relationship. They're not performing a breakup and a makeup for us. They're just living out loud what a lot of people only ever go through in private. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.